Welcome back. You're watching Talk Oxford. I'm Eve Ahmed and I'm joined today by Richard Martin of Witney Blanket Hall and Cotswold Woolen Weavers, as well as Neil Anderson, who organises the Oxford's Arts Group. And we're going to chat now about camera phones. Are they turning us into Big Brother? Citizen journalists filming public incidents? Is there something Orwellian about uploading and sharing off-the-cuff moments that were never intended to be recorded? Or do mobile moral crusaders do us a favour by revealing things that people would rather hide? What do you think, Neil? Are you a mobile moral crusader?
Well, I would hardly give my secrets away if I were. But
very canny.
A couple of years ago, I did get a slightly stiff email from YouTube saying one of your videos has been taken down due to copyright infringement. Oh. And this is baffling to me. But what had happened was I'd filmed a young singer-songwriter who subsequently started to make good.
Not Taylor Swift?
No, I won't give you even the initials.
Okay.
Or should we make it a competition?
No.
And he'd obviously complained to YouTube, and they'd, sent me a, don't do it again. So I had the concert, which I was enjoying very much. It was in a, I'll say where the venue was. It was Modern Art in Oxford. About 100 people there. I was at the back, mostly younger people. I couldn't see, so I put my phone up, filmed it, and it came out rather well. I thought perhaps people would like to see this on YouTube. It would do his career some good, but obviously it did it too much good, and, and now he wants to retain control of his copyright on any material that's out there, which is fair enough, certainly. Generally speaking, I don't make a habit of filming people without their knowledge. I always ask them first.
What do you think, Richard?
Oh, I'm pretty sure on this one. I think that if you see an old lady being hit over the head with an umbrella, you go up and say to the chap who's doing the hitting, stop. And if he doesn't stop, go and tell a beak. But these people who drive around with cameras on their dashboard, hoping to catch someone coming down a no entry sign or whatever, they're just sneaks.
Oh, cyclists.
They're the same sneaks that they were at my school, and they weren't very popular. I think people should mind their own business on the whole. I think that they should just get on with things.
Yeah, because I was reading about one very odd incident where a female driver was spotted eating cereal on her lap at a red light by a cyclist armed with a helmet. The cyclist scolded her, then uploaded the footage to YouTube, where it got around 500,000 hits in a week and prompted the police to investigate.
I'd kill for that kind of publicity. I'll get my breakfast. I'll remember what my breakfast is tomorrow. Take it in the car.
Well, I hope that the cyclist wanted publicity. If the cyclist did it because he wanted publicity, I'm all for it. Good luck to him. But if he did it because for some rather peculiar reason he wanted to see this woman up before the beaks, I think that's a bit mean,
contemptible.
Really. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Are you a big fan of mobile phones? I mean, do you use it for everything?
Do you know,
it's
a thing.
It?
I was a complete Luddite with phones, and I did put off having a phone. I had one of those brick things, which was ridiculous. And then I didn't have another one for years. And then someone pointed out that this matchbox that they had in their hand was actually a phone. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'd better have another go. So I did, and I now couldn't do without it. And but I think that they've gone far too far. I mean, the selfie is just beyond me. And when I found out that a selfie stick is actually a device so that you can get a better selfie, I just think that's extraordinary. All these people turning around so they don't look at what they're watching, so they can get a photograph of what they're not watching.
But it's also, I think, to get the nice background in and to make something artistic. I mean,
it's the voice of experience here.
Yes, I'm a bit worried about that. You're kidding? Have you really?
I got it for my daughter, so that's my excuse.
Ah, yes, of course.
But is that the sort of thing that you might hold
my Christmas list,
a talk on? How to use your selfie stick?
If it was done artistically, in good taste, yes. Who knows? Anything's possible in the world of art, even that.
This is Mr. Neil Diplomat Anderson here.
Well, we're the yin and yang. I'm sure.
No, I wouldn't go to that one. I'd miss that one.
Yeah. What about you and your phone? Are you joined at the hip?
As much as anybody, I guess. But my excuse is that it's mostly for the arts group. That's my kind of blanket policy. Oh, I'm just organising an arts group event, and tend to get away with it.
Are people willing? Do you want new people to join? Is it open to
absolutely.
All comers?
We'd like them to join, and we'd also like them to turn up to events when they do join. We're talking a little bit beforehand. There are a lot of meet-up groups around. There's about 150 or more in Oxford alone. And
is Meetup a website?
Oh, sorry, yes, I haven't really talked about that. Meetup is the umbrella organisation. It's an American organisation, but there are probably tens of thousands of meet-up groups all around the world. and they're all themed around particular interests. So ours is arts and culture, and we have a website in which we highlight certain events which we'd like, we suggest people might like to go to. They can RSVP, but the idea is to get people off the computers, because once you've signed up, RSVP'd, you know the time and place, and then we meet face to face, which is a worthy end, I think.
Is it a singles thing or not really? Or that's sort of incidental, coincidental?
I think that was another of those diplomatic questions there, yes.
Are you referring to singles as in the recorded vinyl?
No.
Funnily enough, I do have a second meet-up group, which is called the Roaring Forties, which is purely a social group. And people have all sorts of motivations for coming along. Pure friendship, or
impure
otherwise. Yes, but it's not primarily a dating organisation at all. But yes, in all sorts of meet-up groups, even the least likely, perhaps let use your imagination what you think they might be. I'm sure friendships do form, and sometimes a bit more.
You haven't had your first marriage then? Not you personally.
Oh, I see. You know what? Yes, we. Well, I think they're married.
Okay.
And
maybe we'll leave it at that.
I think that's a good point.
And move on to our final item of this evening, which is the weather. Inescapable. We're having a mini heat wave, you can't have not noticed. It's going to be 30 degrees tomorrow, whereas the average for July is normally 21 degrees.
Good girl.
Richard, as a man in the woolens business, does the sun make your heart sink?
Do you know, well, I was trotting down Welch Way coming here this evening. I thought to myself, there am I going to talk about wool on one of the hottest days for a decade. The thing is, actually, this is a small puff, is that wool is something that can keep you cool as well as hot. I mean, it's an insulator both ways. And the second thing is that, Cotswold Woollen Weavers is open every day, and we welcome thousands and thousands of visitors. And there's lots of things to do there besides buy wool, even if you sit there and eat an ice cream. But actually people do buy wool, because a lot of our visitors come in the summer, or they're seasonal visitors, so they will buy something in the summer, and they do sometimes struggle with a sort of woolen jacket, sweating profusely, pair of shorts, trying this jacket on, because they've come from Seattle or somewhere and they're not coming back, so they do buy something in the summer and leave. So I'm pleased to say that sales do keep up. But nevertheless, I do understand the point. And you see the sheep before they're shorn, they look extremely tired and woebegone, panting in the fields until their wool is cut from their bodies, and then they cheer up a bit. So wool is a bit of a problem in the summer.
You do good, are you?
Oh, very good. Oh, yes, exactly.
Yes. Have you got any tips for either enjoying the weather or evading it?
Well, if you don't like hot
as an
weather,
Oxford expert.
Oh, I won't go that far.
Well,
even
Oxford
near
arts
there.
expert.
How can we drag that back to arts? I'm not sure we can. I lived in the south of Italy for a few years, and summer temperatures there were regularly around 40 degrees. So if you don't like the heat, I would recommend a long spell abroad in a hot country, and everything seems fine thereafter.
Do you think we make too much fuss about it here? Apparently the railway tracks are buckling today and the tarmac is bubbling. Why can't we cope?
Yes, well, we can, but we enjoy the moaning.
I think so.
Yeah, that's part
Gosh, if you remember 1976, then you remember heat. That was the hottest summer of the century, I think.
Yeah. Do you like the heat? You said you don't like to go abroad.
I'm one of these curious people who wear more or less the same clothes throughout the year. I find, but that's largely laziness. That's just indolence and not changing. I don't particularly mind heat, but not heat. I don't crave it. I know there are some people who just, unless they get 2 or 3 hot weeks every year, they feel rather down about things. I don't particularly. And to be honest, my favourite time is probably in the spring, actually, when it begins to warm up and the trees are coming into bud and so on.
Yeah.
When it gets very hot. On the other hand, there's something about very hot weather which means that you can justify opening the wine bottle earlier in the evening. You don't have to wait till 6 or 7. You can mid-afternoon is quite acceptable, I believe.
Yeah.
When it's very hot.
And what is that? Why you left the foreign climes, because of the weather?
No. It wasn't weather related.
Yeah.
No, but I was just thinking about what you were saying about tips. I'd like to see a return of the Japanese-style fan.
What's that?
one of those. I'm presuming they're the Japanese style, the ones where you open them like that.
But there's a Spanish style as well, isn't there? Senorita type.
Absolutely. Now you're getting arty. I like that.
Or the little electric
fandango.
ones you can hold under your chin.
No, noise pollution, not good.
That's a bit selfie stick, that is.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think
Yes.
electric,
Gadgets.
personal electric fans, yes.
Yeah, I'm surprised our phones don't have a fan button.
Well, you saw it here
Wow.
first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, if Mark Zuckerberg's watching, maybe.
Yeah, we
Yes.
never know what's out there, or who's
Yeah.
out there even.
So have you got, what plans have you got then for while this hot weather lasts?
Turn the air
Because
conditioning
apparently
on.
it's all going to go a bit downhill by the weekend.
Right. Well, where I usually work, they do have air conditioning, so make sure it's on. That's my usual priority. However, this summer I'm working somewhere else where they have big, rickety, sort of rackety, noisy fans in the corner of the room, which drive all my students crazy because they're English students, international English students, and are trying to work on their pronunciation. They've got to compete with this chattering device. So. That's my main priority, just sorting out the fan.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when is Whitney Blanket Hall
Blanket
going
Hall-
to be fully sorted out?
People
When's it
have
going
been
to be
asking
open?
me that, yes, for the last 18 months while we've been doing it. Certainly we've done more work than we expected, and also it's turned into a great pleasure actually doing it. I think probably within a month we'll open. And just to say about tips and things, one of the nice things about big, heavy buildings, both our buildings in very traditional Cotswold buildings in Filkins and also the Whitney Blanket Hall, is that these very old stone buildings do stay remarkably cool in the summer. And I think that's one of the nice things about walking into an old Cotswold building. That sudden drop in temperature and the air is still, and it's very beautiful.
Yes. But presumably, does it work the other way, that in
Yes.
winter it's lovely and warm?
Yes.
Like your wool?
I wish it was. No. You just have to wear another pullover, and everyone buy a pullover. It's you can't do better in the winter.
Yeah. Do you think you're going to be able to revive the historic blanket trade in that Whitney was known for?
Well, I think we're
many
certainly going to
centuries ago?
revive interest in it. I mean, everyone over 35, 40, you say Whitney, they say blankets, and anybody under 35, they say Houston, because they can't spell. And the thing is that we will help revive that interest and knowledge about the heritage of blankets. Whitney, I think, is a fantastic town. I mean, it's a prosperous town, hardly an empty shop. I think it's very well managed by the district council. I think everything works. It's a beautiful town, and it's done it all without visitors. When people come to the Cotswolds, they go to Woodstock and Burford and to Oxford, obviously, Chipping Campden, Stowe. No one seriously thinks, oh, let's go to Whitney. But actually, Whitney's beautiful, and I think Whitney is about to become a visitor destination.
In a month?
Yes, and I think we will help that. The church is very keen to see more of this happen. Then there are beginning to be businesses in Whitney which are visitor-oriented businesses, and I think Whitney will benefit. The residents of Whitney will benefit because their services, the shops and the pubs and the hotels, will be more sustainable because of visitors bringing their dollar as well as the indigenous dollar. And I think that I see ourselves as part of that. Gentle. I mean, we're not talking about Disneyfying
Coaches
Whitney. No.
of
We're
tourists.
talking about something which will keep what Whitney's got going better, and that I think all towns need to do something about that.
Yeah, whereas Oxford probably has the opposite problem.
Yeah, they're doing all right. Yes, there's not too much more room inside at the moment.
Why did you start the arts group? Was it out of the goodness of your heart?
No, well, okay. I'll riff on that a bit. One of my students wanted to meet English people, and I suggested he join a book group, of which there are many in Oxford. And he said, "Well, will you come with me?" And I said, "Okay." So I did, and he didn't turn up. So, and I discovered a meet-up group that way. So the Oxford Book Group meet-up.
Are you sure this isn't how they got members? I mean, it sounds pretty desperate. You say, invite them to come with me, then they don't come.
Oh dear, I was duped.
Yes, I think you possibly were. Yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, maybe we will leave it at that, because that is all we've got time for today here on Talk Oxford. Thanks so much to my wonderful chatty guests, Neil Anderson and Richard Martin. I'll see you again soon, and in the meantime, remember, keep talking.